Rick Harrison was once the humble head of Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas. He knew that going on TV could grow the business, and Pawn Stars became an international 14-season hit that's been translated into 38 languages and airs in 150 countries. Keep watching to learn the secrets the Pawn Stars cast doesn't want you to know. Chumlee. Rick knows that Austin Chumlee Russell is a fan favorite. He even admits that tourists to the shop prefer merchandise such as their Chumlee for President t-shirts. The show was originally meant to only include the Harrison family, but they changed their minds and wanted a fourth cast member. He started interacting with them like he always had, and Chum became the one that stood out. Legal trouble. Chumlee has experienced the negative side of being a reality star more than once. Cameras spotted him fighting with an unidentified man on Hollywood Boulevard in 2012. He insisted it was self-defense because the man threatened him and his friends with a gun. That didn't keep the case out of court because he left the man beaten and bleeding and fled the scene. In May 2016, police raided Chumlee's home during an investigation of a sexual assault case. They never filed any assault charges against him, but did find his special party spot known as the Chum Chum Room. They found marijuana, meth, Xanax, and 8 non-registered firearms. He was charged with felony possession of a firearm and felony possession of a controlled substance, but avoided jail time for probation and counseling. Death hoaxes. Chum isn't the first celebrity to have false reports of their death circulate around the internet. It's happened to Tom Cruise, Paul McCartney, Beyoncé, and more. Fans did seem to believe the reports about Chum, though. The Internet Chronicle first reported that he died of a marijuana overdose in 2013. Another site called eBuzzed said he died of a heart attack less than a year later. He tweeted a response, "May we live long, rich forever." Everything is staged. Reality TV is always a relative term. Viewers are left to wonder how much of it is truly real. The goings-on in Gold and Silver Pawn Shop are almost entirely staged. If a seller comes in to pawn a rare item, they're typically asked to come back in and recreate it for the cameras. They have to become actors. They're coached on how to act and give an idea of a reasonable price. It can take several cuts to get it right, and trades are occasionally cut if the person seems too nervous. The shop employees also get a bit of help on how to handle the deals. They're encouraged to buy items they would otherwise pass on if the deal makes for great television. The staff almost always knows what they're getting. The producers set up deals for historic or interesting items in advance. Shop manager Travis Benton shows them unique items to see if they're worthy of broadcasting, and so does fellow shop employee Rocco Landi. That also explains how they always seem to have an expert ready. They're nearby and can quickly determine the item's value because they've seen it before. The show changed the business. All the staging and performing makes it difficult to do business at Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. The lines are out the door, but only 1 out of every 100 is there for the shop. The rest are there as fans and tourists. This leads to approximately 4,000 to 5,000 visitors a day. The shop's front counter isn't the best place to see the guys. Everyone tries to snap photos of them, and that violates privacy laws for customers. Anyone you do see selling on the show has already given their consent. The show also encouraged Rick to open up the Pawn Plaza, a set of surrounding stores. Rick's Rolling Smoke, Inagata de Pizza, and the nearby donut shop all shut down by August of 2016. The tenants complained about how Rick managed this expansion. He's lost their rental income but hopes to vet tenants better in the future. The coin melting suit. Gold and silver pawn melts down coins that are traded in. They've always done this, but have learned to be more careful about it after it got them into trouble. A seller stole over $12,000 from her uncle David Walters' coin collection and gave them to the shop. He claimed they were worth $50,000 and sued the store for melting them down. The law says pawn shops have to hold on to items they receive for 30 to 90 days, but gold coins are exempt from that law. That meant the man was unfortunately out of his money. The manager lawsuit. Wayne Jeffries, ex-manager to the Harrison family and Chumlee, claimed he was dropped after a disagreement over the spin-off show Cajun Pawn Stars. Venture IAB claimed that History Channel executives were using another agency to lure the cast away. Wayne sued for an unspecified amount, and Venture IAB sued for over $5 million. The Venture suit was eventually dismissed. Rick said he wasn't fazed and knew that the more money you make, the more times people sue you. Rick's battle with his mother. Rick's mother, Joanne, sued him over family assets and ownership of the pawn shop. The complaint is a breach of contract. She was married to his father, Richard, for 58 years. Rick allegedly signed over her 51% interest in the pawn shop over to him while she was in the hospital and had just awoken from a coma. When the old man died in 2018, she inherited his 49% share of the shop but didn't get full documentation of the business's finances. She also hasn't been able to get proper documentation of over $500,000 of cash and silver she believes her husband accumulated before her death. Joanne has also filed a temporary restraining order against Rick. This was after he allegedly stopped sending her money from her husband's share of the assets. He was giving them in $25,000 increments, but allegedly stopped in 2020. The lawsuit includes a long list of demands, including unspecified damages, accounting of assets, a court order banning Rick from using Joanne's funds, and a constructive trust over property belonging to her. Rick says he found out about the restraining order through news reports. He insists all the allegations against him are false. Olivia Black. Pawn Stars seemed like a man's world until one of the first few seasons ended. Olivia Black joined and charmed fans. That made it a shock when she was suddenly fired. Nude photos from her previous career as a model for SuicideGirls.com surfaced. The truth is, she was simply moved to night shifts. That kept her off the show and out of the spotlight. Another false allegation was that she sued to get back on the show. The truth was, she openly petitioned for it. She eventually left the store and went back to modeling. Corey the Daredevil. Rick's son Corey has always been a fan of motorcycles and bikes. He's negotiated plenty of deals around them. He's also gotten into sticky situations riding them. Take the time when he was riding around collecting birthday supply parties in 2014. A piece of his fender came off and he went into a tailspin. He deftly avoided traffic by jumping off and still went to the party before going to the hospital and discovering his only injury was a broken hand. There was also the time in 2011. He wiped out in the rain riding between Vegas and San Diego. The Old Man. Richard Harrison, more fondly known as the Old Man, died at age 77 on June 25, 2018. Rick told the world that he was surrounded by his friends and family and would be missed the world over. He called him his hero and that he was fortunate to have him as his dad. Rick may have had the idea for the show, but it was the Old Man who founded the shop. He opened it in the early 80s. The Old Man could even be considered an actor. The tough, no-nonsense negotiator persona he put on was more of an act than anything else. It balanced out the other, more comedic characters like Chumlee. But he was always teasing Rick, and his relationship with his younger son Chris was much more strained. He wrote him out of his will due to, quote, personal differences. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite character on Pawn Stars? Let us know in the comments section below.